Happy New Year! On this episode, we're going to be celebrating the new year of 1976. Oh, wait. Hold on a second. Oh, that's a typo. The year is 2026. Okay, well, to celebrate the new year of 2026, we're going to be talking about the movies of 1976 on this episode of Attack of the Killer Podcast.
Attention planet Earth and beyond. Stay tuned for Attack of the Killer Podcast. 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 That's time for the show. Yay.
What?
Welcome, one and all, to Attack of the Killer Podcast, the only podcast that will survive the apocalypse. That's right, us and cockroaches. This is episode 356, and celebrate our nation's bicentennial with us by talking about the horror films of 1976. Now, if this is your first time listening, Attack of the Killer Podcast is a horror movie podcast where a group of friends get together with a topic and discuss films within that topic. We're just friends hanging out talking horror movies, so there may be spoilers. If you like our show, we would love your support.
What's wrong with you?
What? Oh.
Not you, the people.
Yeah. We would love your support. You can join our Patreon that we call Becoming an Attacker, because when you donate to our show, you become part of the Attack of the Killer Podcast family. All you gotta do is go to jointheattackers.com and pick the tier that you want to get all kinds of cool extra bonus stuff, including our bonus episodes, which our next bonus episode, we're going to be talking about our all-time favorite films of the year 1976. So in order to check that out, you gotta become an attacker. So get on that. You get all kinds of other cool stuff too, like our YouTube videos. You can get your own t-shirt, original art by me called Mikey's Monsters. And you can even get shout-outs on the show like these cool people right here.
Timothy Leonard, Roman Doppelfeld, Larry Watanabe, Brett J. Royer, Jessica Irish, Chris Cook, Brian Godsell, Stefan Sitter, Brandy Moore, Andrew Mahler, Rodney Dean Hutchinson Jr., Carmen DeHague, Abraham Ariano, Andrew Bentler, Casey Kelderman, Tony Miller, Mike Clayton, Rose Talashoma, Abe Kirshner, Lisa Cavalier, Holly Berg, Bill Fisher, Greg Dedrick, Sam Williams, Garth Jacobson, Brett White, Tiffany Dewey, Scott Reebsman, Chris Collins, and Jacob McLaughlin.
You too can be on that list. All you gotta do, again, is go to jointheattackers.com. Pick the tier that you like to get the content you want and become an attacker today.
And if you watch enough movies that I recommend, you'll be on a whole different list.
A government list, yes. And now, it is time to introduce you to the podcast crew. Their New Year's resolution for this year is to have their glass half full of rum, whiskey, or vodka. The podcast crew, here's Brian, Jason, and Tad.
Hey, yummy.
Hey,
Dibs on whiskey.
Oh, damn it.
you won't have to fight us. You can have it all. It's all for Brian.
Woo! My glass is all the way full.
All right, so enough of those shenanigans. Let's find out. Man, it's been a while since we've recorded.
Yep.
Pull back the curtain a little bit. We take a little bit of time off in December. When we do our year-ender, we record a giant marathon of 2 episodes back-to-back in one sitting, so we can have a little break to enjoy the holidays. So it has given us plenty of time to watch stuff, so this might be the longest part of the show, I'm going to guess. Let's find out what else we've been watching with Tad here and what we watched.
Well, we know he probably watched Home Alone 12 times, but I'll go ahead and ask him anyways. Brian, what have you watched?
Well, I've been watching a lot of Hong Kong movies. Big surprise. Terry got me the Shawscope Volume 4 box set.
Hong Kong Christmas movies?
Actually, one of them kind of had a
Had a
Christmas
tree in the
scene
background?
in it. A Christmas Carol, actually. So let's see. Hex After Hex. That one's fun. It's a horror comedy. It's sort of like, imagine Shaw Brothers making a sleazy version of I Dream of Jeannie, and you'll be kind of close to the mark. There's some shit in that made me cackle out loud, and I posted a screenshot of one of the more choice subtitles to the attacker chat, which is the old lady saying, "Goodness, why would you steal poop?"
Yes. And no one questions anything you posted there. We just keep scrolling like, there's
of
another
course.
Brian movie.
Right, yeah. The Battle Wizard. I'd actually seen that before, but it had been probably 20 years at least, so I was excited to watch that one again. That is just absolute batshit crazy kung fu fantasy, wizards shooting laser bolts at each other kind of shit. Bloody Parrot is
A thing you just made up.
it's a kung fu murder mystery, but just saying that that's what it is selling it so short. It is one of the weirdest, like, it's the kind of movie where it's not, if you described it to someone, they would think you were having a stroke. If you tried to describe Bloody Parrot to someone, you might actually have a stroke. It's just one of those things you need to fucking watch. And believe it or not, there's another one in the set that's kind of the same deal, another kung fu murder mystery called Portrait in Crystal that's even fucking weirder. I can't recommend that box set enough.
Please don't.
So, how about something really miserable and depressing? Black Sun, the Nanking Massacre, by the all-time master of depressing Hong Kong movies, T.F. Mu, who made Men Behind the Sun and a bunch of other unpleasant things. So this one is, it takes place in the same time period as Men Behind the Sun, but it's not about Unit 731. This is just a more general, it's about the Nanking Massacre, but it's a more broad-reaching scope. It's not just focused on this one little group, but there's a bayonet abortion in it. Doesn't that sound fun?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just, yeah. Let's see, what else here? Sleepless, the Dario Argento movie that Vinegar Syndrome just recently put out. It was one that I'd never seen it before, and I kind of was expecting to not like it because it's from that period that's just generally considered where he kind of started to go off the rails. But I actually thought it was really good. I liked it quite a bit. It's got Max von Sydow in it as this retired cop who is called out of retirement because this case that he had been working on when he was still active duty has kind of come back into active status, and so they want him to try to help them solve it. And the score is by actual Goblin again. Like, Claudio Simonetti got the other guys to somehow manage to not kill each other long enough to be in the studio to record a score again, and the score absolutely kicks ass, and the murders in it are really brutal. This is just a straight up giallo. There's no supernatural. It's not like tied to Suspiria or anything like that. But yeah, it's really good. And then let's see. So we're not here forever. I'll just say The Nightingale. Have you guys seen this?
Sounds
it's by the director who made The Babadook. I think it was the thing she did after The Babadook.
Okay.
It's sort of like, so it takes place in Australia at the time of colonization. So it's about this woman who's an Irish, she was like a political prisoner, had done something back in Ireland. So she got sent to the penal colony in Australia, and awful things happened to her and her family at the hands of the English soldiers who are guarding them. And with the help of an Aborigine tracker, she goes out to get. It's kind of like historical Outback, I Spit on Your Grave. It's really fucking brutal, like really fucking brutal, but it's also really, really, really good.
I love how you somehow mash up things that should not exist. You're like, it's just like this. Imagine if these two things were a thing, and it's like, no, that's not real.
I made a living selling CDs for many years, so trying to describe a band to someone as it sounds like this, but with elements of that, and that just became how I did my job, and so it just kind of stuck in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so it's on Shudder. It's on, I think, maybe on Hulu as well. It's pretty easy to find streaming right now, and I if you got the stomach for it, I would recommend watching it because it is a genuinely very good movie. It's just also disturbing. So we'll call it there.
Right on.
Otherwise, we'll be here all night.
All right. Jason, let's hear your, as a palate cleanser, I'm sure you've watched some
Well, I was going to start with,
nicer things.
yes, much. I've actually been watching a lot here lately. I'll just quickly say we went to the theater 3 times in December. We saw, as a family, we saw Zootopia 2, Five Nights at Freddy 2, and SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants. Those
2.
I think there's many of those, I know. But part 2, before the SpongeBob, was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Chrome Alone 2, Lost in New Jersey. It was a nice little short film.
That's a real thing?
It played before the movie, yeah. It's like a continuation of Mutant Mayhem, that movie, the TMNT Mutant Mayhem. Amazing movie also, but... Moving on. Those were all great, fun family times. Jurassic World Rebirth. That was actually pretty good. You know?
I did not enjoy it, but...
No, I didn't mind it. I thought
ScarJo.
ScarJo, that's it. I thought she did good.
huge,
The
yeah.
Smashing Machine.
Hell
liked it
yeah.
a
I watched
lot.
that. I want to like it a lot more.
I wanted to like it a lot more too, but I think it's because I watched too much of the Dark Side of the Ring.
Right. It wasn't like
It
nearly as sad as I was expecting. And I've seen the documentary. Have you seen the documentary,
No.
Smashing Machine? Watch that if you really want to feel bad. Because you're watching like him really spiral, and they just barely sort of touch on some of the things, and it just felt like
It was the Hallmark version of Dark Side
Yeah.
of the Ring, and it was like,
it's
The
too
Rock
light.
was awesome. You know, I thought his performance was outstanding. I loved it. Just a happy giant, you know. It was
Yeah, and as someone who like followed Mark Kerr's career through Pride and stuff, like, and Mark Coleman, it's so weird that they cast a real current but different MMA fighter and Ryan Bader
I
as Mark
know.
Coleman. So I just see Ryan Bader and I'm like, that's supposed to be Mark Coleman. Mark Coleman's alive. He could just
I know.
be himself, and that threw me off. And the score was really weird.
Yep.
It was like a little bit trying too hard. I love the Safdie brothers.
Yeah.
So I did enjoy the movie, but I just wanted it to be like, I wanted it to wreck me like the Iron Claw did,
Yeah.
and it didn't.
It did not.
And
I mean, it
No,
was
and I'm
cool
like-
seeing Bas Rutten in there and stuff, but yeah, Ryan Bader
as
that made it
himself,
weird.
yeah.
It made it
Yeah,
weird.
Bas Rutten played himself, so why can't Mark Coleman?
know.
Bas Rutten, I don't know.
Anyway.
But it was fine.
It
but
was fine.
what's her name?
Yeah, she acted everyone.
Emily
it's-
Blunt, right?
Yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah, she's fucking awesome. And you felt like every scene she was in, you felt like that dread, but it never
Yep.
got. It's like I feel bad
Never
being
went
like
there. Yeah.
Mark Coleman never beat her brains in, damn it. But or Mark Kerr never,
Yeah.
put his hands on her, and yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted more out of it. It started really cool. Like
Yeah.
it looked like you're watching an old like sort of recorded off TV tape of these old Pride fights in Japan.
Yeah.
And recreating the Pride stuff was sort of cool, and using like the handy cam like from the outside of the ring rather than being like Rocky where you're inside as the referee POV. That was like the fighting stuff was pretty realistic, but again, like
Or if they really played on the stuff where like he never lost ever, and then he starts losing. They didn't even. I mean, they touched on it, but it wasn't.
right, it wasn't heavy as it should have
wasn't
been.
heavy. It was
Yeah,
a bummer.
I just, yeah, I'm curious to see if, there was when this was coming out, like there was all this talk about both of them, Emily Blunt and Dwayne Johnson getting a lot of buzz for their performances, and they're up for Golden Globes, but I just don't see it being Oscar worthy and not because of their performances, but just
the
overall
films.
movie. Just
Yep.
yeah.
100%. Also watched Roof Man. That was really fun.
I want to see it.
Yeah, I just watched it recently too. I
Channing
really
Tatum
liked it.
and Kirsten Dunst. It was freaking fantastic. Not just because the whole thing takes place in a Toys R Us. Okay, sure, that helps.
It's Jason's dream.
It is. He got to live my dream. I got to see. I mean, Juno Temple's in there from Ted Lasso. She's amazing. Peter Dinklage is the meanest prick, dickhead boss ever created.
Is he an angry elf?
Dude, he is the worst in this movie. He's so bad. Anyway, moving on. Eddington.
Yeah, but I feel like
Oh.
it kind of makes sense having him as this like
Yeah.
horrible manager. Like he's just a jerk to everybody. But that's just not only not how you manage people, but it kind of also reflects in how he manages his store. Because a good manager probably would have caught this guy a long time ago
Yeah.
playing with the toys all night long and eating the candy all night long, like, and then storing stuff in his little hiding space. Like your inventory would be way off.
And he knew that. He just didn't do anything about it until he was
Yep.
asked about it.
And
Yeah.
I feel like Channing is really underrated, and I'm glad to see him, like, was it
yeah.
Don't Blink? And this, like, let's get him back in
great.
there, because the guy's really fantastic and underrated. I think he sort of got typecast when he was in the Magic Mike movies as, like,
Yep.
the ripped dumb guy, but he can be really fucking funny, and he can
Mm-hmm.
be really great dramatic actor too. And I'm glad to see him getting, like, starring roles again.
Then you'll like that. You'll like Roofman.
Right on.
My favorite, one of my favorite modern directors, Ari Aster's new movie, Eddington.
Yeah, I'm glad
was-
someone else saw it.
Freaking loved it. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, one of my favorite of all time. Emma Stone, one of my movie girlfriends.
Great cast.
Incredible cast. Awesome movie. Not a Western, Tiffany, I'm sorry, but it kind of is. She didn't
Like a
wanna watch
mod.
it.
I was say it feels sort of like if we put like in 2020, it might be considered a western.
It is.
Where you have the sheriff versus the liberal, and they're fighting over COVID rules,
Yep.
and it gets more serious towards the end.
Pedro
way more
Pascal.
serious.
Oh yeah, it
It's
goes
fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a wonderful. Loved it.
It makes you wonder what the hell's up with Ari Aster, like
Uh-huh.
that guy.
I felt his I'm gonna pick a different word than touch to the film. I felt his presence on
Yeah.
screen. You know, it the score especially is just it makes you just nervous, like for 2.5 hours, 3 hours, however long it was.
And it feels like it starts with like pretty low stakes, and it's just these two guys
Mm-hmm.
bickering and shit. And then when the shit hits the fan in the third act, you're like, oh fuck, like we're in a whole different movie now. I loved it.
Yep, 100%. And then my last one I'll say is One Battle After Another.
Fuck yeah.
I'm excited to see this one. Just haven't got around to it yet.
Also different than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I love PTA. You know, he's one of our best directors, sure. And DiCaprio and Sean Penn and Del Toro and so many great actors and actresses in this. But I didn't think I was going to like it that first half hour. I was like, what is going on with the film?
It's my favorite of the year, man. So good.
I think it ends there, you know, just because of the ride that you go through.
Yes.
You know, yeah, just the way the story's told, the camera work, it's very weird and off-putting. And like I said, I didn't really like it at first. I didn't think I was going to like it, but you just hang in there, and it's easy to do with DiCaprio. He's just DiCaprio, you know. And by the end, and then my only other troubles, I'm like, they just dabbled with comedy in there, the Sean Penn stuff. I'm like,
It's supposed to be funny, yeah.
this is the most serious movie I've ever seen, but then you're putting in some weird comedic stuff that Sean Penn does, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. I loved it. I felt like, I'm a big, like, keep a movie to 90 minutes guy, and this one, it felt like a 90-minute movie. It did not waste a second of screen time.
No.
It's gonna take everything home. The Oscars it's gonna sweep the Oscars. It's so fucking good. If they don't give Leo that award this year, they are truly biased. And I love that it doesn't like hold your hand at the beginning. They just throw you right in the fucking middle of it, and you're like, what is happening? And you have to just go along with them and sort of figure out context clues as if you're just like you jumped in and you're running next to them, and you're like, what's happening? What's
Why
going
are we
on?
running? Okay.
Right.
fuck.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just following you because you're running, and that's what it feels like the whole like until you get it. And technically, a Christmas movie.
I guess. And Leo, he has some great performances of just pure fucking breakdown at the end when he can't remember codes and shit. I just love
Oh my god,
seeing him
so good.
scream at it. Oh, it's so good.
Yes,
Well, anyway,
relatable.
that's what I watched.
All right, Mikey, how about you?
Okay, so the most recent watch, I watched it last night for New Year's. Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. I didn't know
I'm a
it
little
was.
Yeah,
afraid.
I saw that
Yeah.
was out.
Saw that one
Yeah, I
too.
didn't know
It
it
was
was
a lot of
streaming
fun.
yet. Yeah, I just came across it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I don't think it's nowhere near as funny and um, on point as the first film is, and they're not as. I mean, Christopher Guest is still probably the funniest part of the whole movie, like he is in the first one. But I don't feel like they're maybe as quick-witted as they were back in those days. For me especially, it was comfort food. Just seeing the three of them together again, getting the band back together, hearing those tunes. I love how it's not like just a direct sequel to the first film and ignores everything in between. There's a lot of references to other Spinal Tap stuff that came after the first movie. Like there's a lot of songs from the Break Like the Wind album that came out in the 90s that they did when they tried to do a little Spinal Tap resurgence. A lot of those songs were in this movie, and I thought that was really cool. The girl they get to play the drummer is probably one of my favorite characters in the movie. She's just so excited to be there, even though the looming threat of every drummer that is in Spinal Tap ends up dying. And she is not. She's determined to break the curse. But I will tell you this: it is worth the whole movie is worth. I laughed out loud at the final performance of Stonehenge that ends the movie. So freaking funny, especially Elton John's reaction at the very end. I feel like it's a spoiler because it's such a funny moment, but just to hear those words come out of Elton John's mouth was just like a highlight of my life.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I recommend it. It's definitely maybe too little, too late, but if you like the first one, you'll find something good in this one maybe too. I watched Queen of the Dead, which is by Tina Romero, George Romero's daughter,
Oh,
and it's a zombie movie with with like these drag queen characters trying to survive this zombie apocalypse. And it was pretty good. It was definitely better than I thought it was going to be. It was definitely a lot of fun. I recommend it. I think that's on Shudder. I watched Nobody 2.
yay!
That was awesome. Like, when's Nobody
Just as
3
good.
coming out?
Yes.
Come on. Can't come out soon enough. If you would have told me back in the Mr. Show days that he would be one of my new favorite action stars, I
Never.
would say you were fucking nuts.
Probably him too. He probably feels the same.
Yeah. What's great about him though is like he could kick ass and survive anything, but he feels every punch. Like I've never seen an action star, not even like a Jackie Chan type, that takes on so much pain and when he's in these fights. Like he's getting beaten up, and you could tell it hurts him immensely. And that's one of the things I love about him. It's just so much more of a human style character. And even though he's playing a straight action guy, the movies are still fun and hilarious. I'm really digging them a lot. I've got quite a few, but I don't want to run too long. The last one I want to bring up, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Like, somehow I missed it. It came out in 2024, but I've been chomping at the bits for years for the next Jim Hoskins film, the maker of Greasy Strangler and Evening with
Oh,
Barry-
Velvet.
What's that?
Oh, go ahead.
Anyway, his latest film, which came out in 2024, is called Ebony and Ivory.
Yes.
And, have you seen it?
No. I really wanted to. They emailed me about it. Actually, I think came out in theaters like this in 2025.
Oh, okay.
And it hit festivals 24, but they, it was something that they offered at our theater to screen, and I really was tempted, but I'm like, no one's coming to this shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine.
I gotta hear how it is.
Oh, okay. So it stars Sky Elbar, who played Big Braden in Greasy Strangler, and Gil Gex, who played Big Paul, the blind man who ran the car wash in Greasy Strangler. Who both those guys have been in all of Jim's stuff. And it is a fictional historical story about two musical legends, Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder, as they spend the weekend together in a remote Scottish cottage to discuss a potential collaboration. So, if you are a fan of Jim Hoskin's style of humor and the films that he does, you'll dig it. If you find it grating, you're gonna freaking hate it. Because it's an hour and a half long of just these two guys. And that same style of humor where, they just repeat lines back and forth to each other, and it's funny for a second, and then it gets annoying, and then it gets funny again, and then it's annoying again, and then it's the funniest thing ever. I mean, to me, it is anyway. And just the concept alone of that these two guys are playing Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder, which is just hilarious to me. And watching Sky try to hold on to his Paul McCartney accent through the whole movie is hysterical. There's a great scene where they're running along the beach together naked. So that should just give you an idea of where this movie goes. But
Is there like some part of the plot about weed?
oh yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah.
They were
About-
offering in certain states, like the gimmick was like a green screening or something, and basically like they were like encouraging theaters to like allow patrons to smoke pot in the theater.
I mean, it probably plays better if you're high, but
Right. I think that was the catch, but it was supposed to be a gimmick, like you can come smoke weed while you watch it type thing.
yeah, there's a big chunk of the film where that's what they're doing too. Yeah, I loved it. It still has not rivaled Greasy Strangler, which is still my favorite of his, but
Is it
just
streaming
happy
somewhere?
it's gotten into me. Yeah, it's on Tubi actually.
Okay, cool.
So I recommend it, but I know that style is not for everybody, and this one's definitely not going to be for everybody since it's just two guys just dialoguing back and forth in that Jim Hoskin style dialogue for an hour and a half.
I'll check it out.
Yeah. Sweet. Anyway, that's what I watched. Tad, what about you? What have you watched?
I watched a whole bunch of Christmas movies that I won't mention because most were rewatches, but one rewatch that was a lot of fun was Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin. So, beginning of the month, we went to Waukee, Iowa, at like this really huge venue, and we watched Home Alone, and then he came out afterwards and did like a Q&A and did a whole like discussion, and that was a whole lot of fun. I've always, as someone who's 5 years younger than Macaulay Culkin, watching Home Alone movies growing up, I just idolized the guy. Wanted to be him, and then just have always followed his career, loved him, and to see him like striving now is awesome. So to see him like in person was incredible, and he's such a fun guy. He did like a game where he like turned his back to the crowd and threw a tennis ball into the audience, and like whoever caught it had to hand it to like the nearest child, and then he would bring them up, and he got to let the kids sort of have the spotlight, and he would play off their energy. There were some kids that were like terrified and nervous, some kids who were just like overly confident, and he would play into that. But he would do Home Alone trivia, and he would give them really stupid gifts if they got it correct. And so like he went up, he was like, he would be like, in the movie Home Alone, that you just watched, and this like girl was like so deadpan, so nervous, just would not crack a smile. He's like, Harry, the robber had a what color was Harry's gold tooth that got knocked out? And she's like, silver.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, close enough. Everybody says that. And he's like, I'm going to give you a prize. And it's a Joe Pesci 8x10 signed by Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
And she did not find it funny at all. Like another kid, he gave like a signed Micro Machine. The kid didn't find it funny at all. Like, but the adults were all, cracking up, and that was fun. I watched a new to me Christmas movie that came out in 2003 based on like some Dread Central article that was like, here's the unseen Christmas horror that we think is underrated. It was called Dead End. Has anyone seen this one?
Is that the one with?
I figured Mike might be the one because it has Lin Shaye in it, and he might have been forced to watch it.
That's the one with Ray Weiss and Lin Shaye.
Yes, Ray Weiss and Lin Shaye in a car on a road.
Yep.
That's the whole movie. I think Nikki liked it more than I did. Maybe it was because I saw it on this list. It was like, this is underrated and good, and it wasn't. But I like Lin Shaye and Ray Weiss, but there was a lot of like, why people are dying and they're just not reacting as if people die. I don't know. It was a weird sort of trippy movie. Basically, they're like on a road trip for Christmas to go visit like the in-laws or something, and they're on a long stretch of road and they get lost in the woods and weird, mysterious shit's happening. So it's like really like Christmas is really just the like reason to take them across the country. It doesn't play into the movie at all. But I was like, this has Lin Shaye. Mike's probably seen it, and it's one location. It's a group in a car. They rarely exit the car. Not too bad, but I wouldn't say it's a must-watch on a Christmas horror list. But again, it was okay. I saw the Smashing Machine as well. Talked about that already, so I won't get into it. But I went to the theater once in December. I was supposed to actually go today, but that's a long story. But I saw The Housemaid yesterday with Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried. It's directed by Paul Feig. I guess it's based on a book. I saw the trailer before, like, I don't know if it was like Weapons or something I saw in theaters recently, and it had this trailer before it, and it looked pretty good. It was like I can't say the T word, but it's a drama about Amanda Seyfried plays like a rich housewife, and they hire Sydney Sweeney, who's like a poor homeless girl, to be the housemaid, and she's like really abusive and mean to her, and there's lots of drama, and I thought it was really good. I was going into it with pretty low expectations, and I actually really, really liked it. I think I don't know. I really like Paul Feig. How do you guys know?
Is it Feige?
I
from
think
the
it's
Marvel
Feige,
universe?
yeah.
But I like he has a pretty good, it's mostly comedy that he's done. So it was sort of interesting to see him do this, and it has some humor in it for sure. And Sydney Sweeney's sort of been on a bender of like really bad flopping movies. So I'm glad to see this one do well, and I really like Amanda Seyfried, and she did fantastic in it. It's pretty tense and has some comedy and has some twists I did not see coming, and it has definitely some horror elements. You could almost count it as a horror movie in many aspects, but I would recommend it. Probably not in theaters. You wouldn't need to see it in theaters, but I guess it's based on a really popular book my sister had seen, and she wanted to see it. And she was like, "I don't have anyone to see it. You want to see it with me?" I'm like, if I have to go sit and watch Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried for 90 minutes, okay, I'll do that favor for you. So yeah, that one was actually pleasantly surprised by how good that was, and that's what I watched.
That's our show, guys. Good job. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Oh no, there's still more show to come. Because now it's time to talk about the movies of 1976. Jason, what's our first film for the year?
Up first, Eaten Alive.
If you were one of the millions of moviegoers who were electrified by the unbearable suspense and sheer terror of Jaws, get ready for Death Trap. Created by Toby Hooper, maker of the screen sensation The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Marty Rustin presents a new horror classic, Death Trap. Into this house of terror comes a handful of unsuspecting innocents.
Hello?
What happens to these people in Death Trap will give you the most chilling, terrifying 90 minutes you ever spent in the theater. Marty Rustin presents Death Trap. Mel Ferrer, Carolyn Jones, Stuart Whitman, Neville Brand. Get ready for Death Trap, the new horror classic.
Also known as Death Trap. Released in 1976, Eaten Alive is Toby Hooper's swamp-soaked follow-up to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which just happens to be my favorite horror film of all time, making this one sting a little more. Set in a foggy bayou and centered around a deranged hotel owner who feeds his problems and guests to a hungry crocodile, this movie has all the ingredients for greatness: neon lighting, insanity, and Hooper behind the camera, and yet somehow it all slithers into a bizarre, mean-spirited mess where the acting choices feel like everyone was given a completely different script or none at all, with performances so unrealistic they border on alien behavior. That said, I'm pretty sure I'm the odd man out here because the other three hosts probably like this thing. So let's head into the swamp and see if they can convince me this gator actually has some bite.
Well, it doesn't
Get an argument from me.
It doesn't help that Toby Hooper decides to follow up Texas Chainsaw Massacre by basically remaking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, there's a lot of beats that are the same thing. It's people going to this house where the horror is happening, and the horror wouldn't happen if people just didn't go into this house and mind their own business. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same trope as what you saw in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, only done not as well. I mean, it's got a crocodile, so that's cool. You know, swap out a chainsaw for a crocodile. I mean, there's elements of this movie that I like. I mean, the cast itself, I've always been a fan of William Hickey. No, that's not his name, is it? Am I right? Am I wrong?
Which one? Which
William
character?
Finley. William Finley, the husband. He's just always just has like this such a creepy look to him, and they really, I feel like, lean into that a lot in this movie, and I enjoyed him in like Phantom of the Paradise and stuff like that, and a lot of the other De Palma stuff he's done, early De Palma stuff that he's done. So I dig him. Getting Marilyn Burns back in there, which I feel like Toby Hooper's got some sick, twisted fascination for Marilyn Burns and getting her tied up in movies. But no, I'm the only one who thinks that.
Oh,
No,
it's the
maybe.
same thing.
Yeah. So, but it's definitely got a lot of wonderful 70s sleaze atmosphere to it. I like the lighting a lot. You know, you talked about those all those red gels and everything. I think the lighting is really good. The performances are cool. And And yeah, some Robert Englund action in there too. And it can't be that bad, right? That Quentin Tarantino feels the need to steal lines from this movie.
Which
It's
ones?
my name is Buck. I like to fuck.
Yep.
Oh,
Or I'm
yeah.
raring to fuck or whatever it is. Yeah.
I think the only thing I did really like about this was like the lighting and the look. Like it's a stylish movie at times, it's cool, but I just do not like. I was so bored. Like it builds up. Like at the beginning, you're like, oh shit, what's gonna go on here? Oh, he's just feeding them to the gator. Okay, it's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
This movie kind of honks. I don't know if this was something that, like, Texas Chainsaw was something Hooper wanted to do. I don't know if this was a hired, like, somebody's like, oh, let's get the Texas Chainsaw guy to make our movie. Or if
You
this
might
was
find out
something-
in the trivia.
Yeah, I figured you. Yeah, because I didn't dig that deep into it. Because honestly, this movie doesn't inspire me to care to learn.
No.
It's too episodic. Like it's a bunch
Yeah.
of parts that, in theory, you'd think would be stuff that I would absolutely love, but they're not assembled in an interesting way. Like I said, it's all too episodic. None of it feels like it's going anywhere. And I don't know if there was some intentional study of generational trauma caused primarily by the Vietnam War, but also just in general, where like there's a lot of stuff in this with the older generation characters ruining things for the younger ones, like the creepy old guy who runs the place as chasing a young girl around in the crawl space. But even before that happens, her awful parents are ruining things for her. Mel Ferrer's character is out looking for his daughter, who ran away from an oppressive life and then wound up being captured by that creepy old madam and forced into, so it's. But again, that feels like I'm just doing too much work for this movie, because really it's just a cheap, unfocused exploitation quickie with an alligator puppet that would have embarrassed Bruno Mattei. Faye and Roy and Angie's insane family dynamic is easily the most interesting thing in the movie. Like those scenes in the bedroom after the dog gets eaten are really tense and upsetting,
Right. I was
because
like, what the
they're
fuck
just
is
so
this?
nonsensical and stressful. But then it never goes anywhere.
Right.
And the whole, like you were talking about, the whole thing looks like a filmed play. Like the weird lighting, the sets look really artificial. Even the exteriors of the creepy hotel are on a soundstage, and it gives the whole thing the look of like a PBS broadcast of a community theater production from another dimension. I guess is, but yeah, like. And again, all of the things I'm saying, if you had never seen this movie and you like this kind of movie, and I just said all those things I just said, you'd be like, fuck, this sounds cool. I need to see it. But no, you don't, because you'll just fall asleep. Anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't stand the performances. I thought William Finley was awful. I thought Judd, the main dude, was. I couldn't.
Neville Brand. Yeah.
Jesus Christ! It just seems.
Well, he
to stay on
mumbles
him
so
for
much, like you
fucking
can't
ever.
understand half of what he says, and
awful.
his dialogue is mixed way too low in the sound too, so it just becomes really hard to hear what he's talking about.
Yep.
Yeah,
First
I
time
don't have-
watch. Yeah.
me too. And last time watch.
Last time watch.
See, I'd seen this years and years ago, so when it was on the list, like, oh well, I guess it's an excuse to give this another chance. Maybe I was in a bad mood the last time, and I just remember not liking it. Nope, it's still bad.
All right, what trivia do you have for this one, Tad?
Way more than it deserves. This stars 2 Oscar nominees, Stuart Whitman and Carolyn Jones. So here's a little story about the history of it. Adapted for the screen by Texas Chainsaw Massacre co-writer Kim Henkel, the plot was very loosely based on the story of Joe Ball, also known as the Blue Beard from South Texas, or the Alligator Man, who owned a bar with live alligator attraction during the 1930s in Texas. During this time, several murders of women were committed by Ball, and the legend is that he would dispose of his victims' bodies by feeding them to his pet gators, but it was never proven that the flesh found in the pit was human. Joe Ball committed suicide at his bar in September of 1938 when he was about to get arrested by the police in connection with the murders. Here's a little bit about the gator that Brian touched on. A 16 to 17 foot long mechanical model of a Nile crocodile was used for the effects of the crocodile in the submerged water. A 3 foot long walking model was used for miniature shots of the crocodile walking under the hotel. The submerged crocodile model was damaged late in the filming after being left in the artificial pool for over 48 hours, where water seeped into the rubber foam covering, giving a larger bloated appearance. Had to be dried out for several days before filming resumed. And here's why it looks like shit. Filmed entirely on the sound stages of Raleigh Studios in Hollywood, California, which had a large-scale pool that could double as a swamp. Shooting on a soundstage instead of a practical location contributed to the atmosphere of the film, which director Tobe Hooper described as surrealistic Twilight World. But the film eventually proved to be problematic for the director, who left the set shortly before production ended due to a dispute with the producers. However, he kept a good relationship with his actors. According to makeup artist Craig Reardon, cinematographer Robert Saraminko directed several scenes due to creative differences between Tobe and the film's producers. So this made me think right away of Poltergeist, where there's all these like rumors that he didn't direct a lot of it, that Spielberg stepped in and directed some of this, and it sounds like he didn't direct this whole movie, so maybe he's not to blame. We'll give Tobe the benefit of the doubt.
I wonder. I've always wondered about Tobe Hooper on how much of a anti-authority type of person he was, and butting heads with producers and whatnot. Because there's the Poltergeist rumor. There's this, but there's other projects that he started directing and never got credited for because he either got fired or walked off of.
Tobes, come on, man.
Yep.
He's one of those guys that, like, I think he's earned his place in the horror director icon Hall of Fame, on the strength of the first two Texas Chainsaw movies and Life Force. But I mean, I might be alone in that one, but I love that movie.
I love that movie.
But I've never felt like he had, like, if you turn on the TV and you're in a hotel or whatever, where somewhere you're still actually watching cable, and you turn on a movie and maybe you've never seen it before, and it's not one you immediately recognize, but you could be like, oh, that's a John Carpenter movie, or so on. Oh, that's a, well, I mean, even Romero's movies don't necessarily always have the same look, but you know what I mean. But Tobe Hooper's movies never have that. He doesn't have that touch where it's recognizably him. I've always felt like he's just more of a workman director.
Yep.
Like, you put something in front of him and he'll shoot it, and he'll probably do a good job as long as the material he's given is halfway decent, but it's never going to feel like his. It's just going to be a movie.
Yeah, he gets the job done, but
Yeah.
doesn't have a distinct style.
Interesting. It would be interesting to dig more into that.
The only parts I did like about this movie is there are a few times, like when they're chasing it through the woods in between or stuff or something, like it would feel like Chainsaw for a second. I'd be like, oh, it's a nostalgic feeling. It wasn't
Reminded you of a better movie he made.
right. Well, not for this one, but for a different one. And I'm like, oh, there's something. That's him. Yeah.
All right, Brian, what is our next film?
The next movie is Hammer Studios' To the Devil a Daughter.
The evil power of black magic has fascinated millions of moviegoers. In 1967, Rosemary's Baby. In 1974, The Exorcist. And now, a motion picture that probes further into the mysteries of the occult that any has dared before.
98% of so-called Satanists are nothing but pathetic freaks who get their kicks out of dancing naked in freezing churchyards.
I have a feeling I'm dealing with that other 2%.
Richard Widmark challenges Christopher Lee for the soul of a girl named Catherine in the terrifying film of Dennis Wheatley's sensational bestseller, To the Devil a Daughter.
Te adoro et te invoco.
They've got Catherine. And we've got to get her back before it's too late.
When this ceremony has been performed, I shall destroy you, John Burney.
The demons hate you, Raynor. They're waiting for you.
Catherine. Catherine. You are warned. The full shock, the full satanic horror is yet to be revealed.
It's me! Don't!
Okay, so based on the novel by Dennis Wheatley, as they said, which I did not have a chance to read before we recorded, but this is one of those movies where if you try to describe the plot, you can either, we'd be here all night trying to untie the Gordian knot of nonsense, or we could be real brief. So in an uncharacteristic move, I'm going to be brief. A novice nun gets smuggled away from a devil cult into the hands of an occult author in the hopes that he can prevent her from being impregnated by the devil and bringing about the end of the world.
Good job.
Yeah? Okay. So this was Hammer's last horror, the original run of Hammer. I know they've come back and fallen apart like 15 times since then. But for back in the day, this is the last Hammer horror movie. And it's the second to last of any kind of movie that they made before they closed their doors. And it actually did pretty well at the box office, but by then the studio's so broke it could have made 5 times as much as it did, and it still wouldn't have been enough to save them. It was just way too little, way too late.
Yeah, basically paid off a little bit of their debt, I think.
Yeah. It's a fucking mess, this movie. This is another one that I'd seen forever ago and was like, oh, I'm going to give this a second chance, and I almost fell asleep this time too. The production was really rough. So they have had the rights to Wheatley's novels. I forget how many of them they bought, but obviously The Devil Rides Out with Lee and Cushing back in the day, which is an awesome movie. Mm-hmm. And had they been able to get this one into production a little sooner, it might have kept the lights on for a little while longer. Like if they had done this in around 73 when The Exorcist hit, they could have had something, could have changed direction for him in a more meaningful way. But so they couldn't find a director who wanted anything to do with it, and the shooting schedule had already been locked in to their for their budgets and everything. So they finally found a director in Peter Sykes, but the script they had, he said, was pretty much unusable. So he commissioned a new script from a different writer, but they had to start shooting way before it was finished. So there were days when it was more or less being written as it was being shot. Like the guy would write 10 pages of new script the night before, and he'd show up on set the next morning and go, here's the new pages, and the actors would just be like, everything was all over the place. Richard Widmark was constantly threatening to walk off the movie. The fact that they even got a somewhat coherent story on the screen is kind of a miracle, but yeah, it just wasn't enough. Also, if you got real horned up seeing naked Nastasia Kinski as the sexy nun, she was 16 when this was made, so you can all feel bad about yourselves now.
Mike.
So what'd you guys think?
I'm glad that I'm glad you said it was confusing, because that was my biggest problem. I enjoyed the hammerness of it. I enjoyed the sets. I enjoyed the individual actors and acting. The scenes themselves were fine a lot of times, but I'm like, what the fuck, man, is going on?
Oh, any White Zombie fans in the house? Did you recognize some of the lines from the opening?
Yeah, the very opening
scene from Supercharger Heaven. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's always fun when you recognize those right away. I had that in my notes. I feel pretty much the same as Jason. I liked all the pieces, but as a whole, I love just the look and the feel of it, and the nuns and the 70s, all the cool, it's something that again, like if you went and saw White Zombie and they'd be playing it on like a screen behind them, clips of it, you know what I mean? It's like, this is cool, but when you sit down and try to watch it and follow what the fuck's happening, it's confusing. Sort of like a lot of Italian horror movies where it's like style over substance a little bit, and I can see where
in the Italian ones it's intentional. This was
right.
just, holy shit, we have to make a movie and we needed it done yesterday, and we're just making it up as we go along.
In the direction of it. Yeah.
Like, people were, I mean, the performances, again, like, they were good, but they're doing the best they can with what they were given, and story really fell to the back of this, like the writing, and I just wish, it's like there's somewhere in there, like, it feels like they could make something out of it, but they couldn't scrap it all together. But Christopher Lee is always charming and cool as shit in Hammer movies.
He can make the worst dialogue sound good, even though you know he hated it while he was doing it because he was such a notorious grump about that stuff. But it's like, the man had a talent. He could do it.
Yeah.
At least he wasn't responsible for selling that raggedy-ass devil hand puppet. It's like, oh, this is the harbinger of the end of the world? It's so cute.
Hey, Mike, what do you think of it?
What? I'm sorry.
Just talking about it past him.
I fell asleep because I was watching To the Devil a Daughter. Yeah, this movie was boring and confusing, and I just, pretty disappointing for a Hammer film. The highlight to me is the cute little demon fetus. I thought he was adorable.
Sure, I did too. Every time it popped up, I'm like, I'm kind of scared, and that's kind of cool.
I kind of want this movie to be more recognized as a cult film, just so one of those niche toy makers out there will make a replica of the demon fetus, because I want one.
I can't believe they haven't. I mean, I have toys of way weirder and more obscure things than that.
Yeah. Screw it, I'll just make my own.
I mean, you guys were talking about the hammerness of it all. I mean, they had been scrambling for the previous 6 or 7 years to keep up with the times, because their style of horror had really fallen by the wayside. And I actually think this really doesn't look or feel that much like because it's set in modern times. And I know they did a few like Dracula 8072 and Satanic Rites of Dracula were also set in modern times, but those still felt like very stagey, old-fashioned gothic movies set in the modern times. And this actually does feel more like an Exorcist or an Omen or a Rosemary's Baby. Like, it looks more modern, but like, and back in the day, that was probably one of the reasons it was more successful. But I think coming at it from a current cult film fan standpoint, when you watch a Hammer movie, you expect certain things from a Hammer horror movie, and this doesn't deliver that. So I think that even adds to the confusion of like, well, what the fuck is this? Because it doesn't look like a Hammer movie, but it also isn't, it's nowhere near as good as Rosemary's Baby or The Omen or something like that. So like, what are we even doing here?
Yeah. Agreed. What trivia do you have for this one?
Quite a bit. Before Richard Widmark was cast, his role had been offered to Klaus Kinski. He turned it down, stating that he had no issue being in a film where his young daughter was fully naked, but he couldn't guarantee he would remain sober for the duration of filming. Oh my God. Olivia Newton-John, who was 27 at the time, was a candidate for Catherine, but she refused to film the nude scene. This made me sort of laugh because I thought of him, but Ken Russell and Mike Hodges were both approached to direct. I sort of thought of, I was like, this is like The Devils, but not quite as good.
Well, Ken Russell could have, I think he could have made the nonsense part of it work, because so many of his movies are like, if he just turned it into something totally fucking weird like Lair of the White Worm, that could actually have made it a lot more fun.
Yeah.
This was Christopher Lee's last Hammer film until The Resident in 2011, and his last film of the original incarnation of the studio. The same year the film was released, Natasha Kinski was caught shoplifting and sentenced to 3 months in a juvenile detention center. Soon afterwards, she began a relationship with controversial director Roman Polanski, who gave her the starring role in the movie Test, kicking off her international film career. Sorry to ruin it. Buzzkill. Bye. Next movie.
Ruin what? I already said she was underage.
I know, but God, it's just like everything I had in trivia for the most part was like, we could have had a better movie or gross weirdness about Claus and his daughter.
I don't. Yeah. How does the behind the scenes of this movie end up being way sleazier than anything in Eaten Alive?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, let's take showers real quick so then we can discuss our last film. Tad, what's the last film we're going to talk about?
Speaking of showers, we're going to talk about Carrie.
Plug it up.
It's the night of the senior prom. The Bates High School gym is alive with excitement. Everybody is there, even Carrie White. The girl no one likes.
We're all sorry about this incident, Cassie.
It's Carrie!
And everyone makes fun of her. The girl who lives in that creepy house with her crazy mother.
Help the sinning woman see the sin of her days and ways. Show her that if she had remained sinless, the curse of blood would never have come on her.
The girl with the strange power.
If I concentrate hard enough, I can move things.
But tonight, no one will laugh at Carrie.
If you don't have a date for the prom next Friday, would you like to go with me?
She's with the best-looking boy in the senior class.
He's trying to trick me again.
She'll be voted queen of the prom.
You know, I can make sure that you don't hurt Carrie White anymore.
For Carrie, it will be a dream come true. For everyone else, it will be a nightmare. Carrie. A new film by Brian De Palma. Based on the chilling bestseller. Starring Sissy Spacek, Piper Laurie, and introducing John Travolta in his first motion picture role. If you have a taste for terror, you have a date with Carrie.
My favorite De Palma movie, Cassie. Carrie is about a painfully shy high school girl with telekinesis who's raised by a mother convinced fun is a sin and puberty is the devil's newsletter. After years of bullying, a brief taste of normalcy at prom ends when her classmates pull a prank so cruel it triggers the worst group project of their lives, Carrie versus everyone. The night concludes with fire, flying objects, and a powerful reminder that humiliating someone with psychic powers is a spectacularly bad idea. I love this movie. It's not my favorite De Palma actually, but it is just like it was at the perfect time, you know, and it's like the first Stephen King novel and the first one to be adapted to film. Great casting. It just is like so 70s. There's like some really weird music cues in here. The look of it is very like grainy film. It has those, we were just talking about how Tobe Hooper doesn't have like anything that makes it a Tobe Hooper film. That is the opposite with De Palma, where we get those split screens and those like foreground and background, the out of focus, in focus thing. He makes this thing so much his. And I think a lot about like, when we get a really good adaptation of a Stephen King story, it's because it's a good director handling it, and they sort of make it their own, like Carpenter with Christine and controversial, but Kubrick with The Shining, this for Carrie. You know, it's like, I feel like, and Hooper did a Stephen King one, right? He did, what did he do?
Salem's Lot.
Yeah, but exactly, right? Like, it doesn't stand out.
Quick aside, what is your favorite De Palma movie?
Blowout.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Good fucking answer. That movie is awesome.
So
yeah.
good.
I love it so much. I watch it every 4th of July just because it has fireworks in it, and I'm like, this is a 4th of July movie. But I remember seeing this for the first time when I was in high school, and I had seen Porky's before this, but holy shit, like opening with the shower scene where it's just a bunch of full frontal girls. I'm like, as a high schooler, you're like, this movie already has me. And then it goes from there. It just is awesome.
And then 30 seconds later, it lost you again.
Yeah. But I mean, like, there's some stuff that might turn some people off, like the prom, like the scene where they're getting fitted for tuxes, and it's sort of like that weird fast motion. That kind of stuff is sort of dated, but I sort of find charm in it. That it's like, I don't know. This is like a comfort movie for me, strangely enough. And of course, it has that like stinger at the very end that people talk about. I think it was like at the time a huge shocker and scared the shit out of a lot of people. They didn't see it coming. I love the religion aspect of it with the mom. I no matter how many times I watch this, I still like get so emotionally involved. I love that the gym teacher is such a bitch to these girls, and they're bitches right back, and she's slapping them around and shit. I'm like, and the principal's like smoking in his office, and it's like, and the gym teacher smoking in his office. It's such a time capsule, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that, like, especially at the school, that you just could not do now, and I just love every part of it.
Them short shorts.
I love it.
Can't tell me what to do.
Is anybody here not like it?
Well, I was disappointed this time around when I to find out that that's not actually how girl locker rooms go. Because halfway through, I turned to Tiff and I said, "That's what it's like, right?" And she let me down real
Might
hard.
have been in the 70s.
Apparently, it's not all frolicking and towel snapping in the ladies' locker rooms. Other than that, yeah, man, this is so good, so freaking good. I feel for Sissy Spacek. She's so perfect.
She gives a great performance, yeah.
Incredible performance of being so fragile and sweet, and when she smiles, it's just like, holy shit. And fuck all them other girls.
Here's the thing with her in this movie that none of those remakes can touch, is that they make her, I want to say ugly, but that's so harsh. But you know what I mean? She's so homely looking throughout the whole movie. So when it gets to the prom, she's pretty. This isn't like some 90s, where, take the glasses off and now
where
the
she's
girl's
obviously
beautiful.
hot the whole time.
Yeah. Like, her hair just looks greasy through the whole movie, and Carrie is not. I mean, if you ever read the book, Sissy Spacek is still not really portraying how it's written in print, as far as physically speaking.
She's supposed to be like overweight and pimply, and
but at least this version it did a really good attempt to, it's no wonder dumb high school kids are picking on this poor girl. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because when they were casting, like, I don't think I put this into my trivia because there's just so much about this one, but she was not the first choice, and her husband was like recommended to Palma, like, you should look into her, and he's like, she's too pretty, and then she like wore some dress her mom made her when she's like a teenager and put Vaseline in her hair and showed up and did it, and he was like, okay, it's not at all like the book, but like, it's funny because he actually said exactly what you said she's not, where he was like, I felt like she was like one, like curly hair and some makeup away from being gorgeous, but she wasn't self-aware. And it's like, but she gives such a, to me, such a convincing performance that like every time I watch it, regardless, I know exactly like every beat of this movie, and I get so fucking mad at those other girls the whole time. I like hate them. I fucking hate them so much, and my like stomach turns when like I just feel so bad for Carrie, and that's to me like the strong point of this movie, is that it makes me feel those emotions time after time after time. It still gets me.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. And then, not to mention the turn, and a lot of that, the lighting and the way they shot it, and her covered in the blood, but when those eyes bulge out on her, terrifying. She is terrifying in that moment, which is worth the entire film. there could be like the newer generation that could be like, oh, it's a boring movie because you don't get to do the horror stuff till like the last 10 minutes of the movie, whatever. But that is worth the price of admission for the horror stuff. Is that moment when she just breaks and she's just slaughtering everybody in the gym. Not to say that there isn't some other really creepy moments in the film. Anytime dealing with the mother is super uneasy and terrifying in its own right. But also, yes, this is probably one of my favorite De Palma films. This is not my favorite either, but it's up there. Don't ask me that same question because I don't know if I could answer it.
What's your favorite?
Yeah, damn it. Depends on my mood, to be honest with you. I really really love Blowout, but I have a sick fascination for Phantom of the Paradise, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is Cape Fear him too?
No, Cape.
Oh, my bad.
Was Cape? God damn it.
I think was that Scorsese?
Oh, it might have been.
Yeah, it was Scorsese. Yeah.
Because who was the lead? Of course, it's Scorsese.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Anyway, but you want to talk about a real craftsman doing this film. You talk about how he really puts his spin on it. Making it his visually, but there's more to it than just like the I always forget that process where both front and background are in
Split
focus.
diopter.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Or the split screen stuff, whatever, which I all love. But there's other moments too, like when her and William Cat are dancing and the camera just starts spinning around and around and around. Your jobber director would just film that straight, but there's such a beautiful magical moment that we're kind of really being put into Carrie's shoes in that whole prom scene. There's just something so enchanting and magical about her getting to be there, and just the camera spinning around during their dancing scene, and the way they crafted that is just, it's one of those moments that it didn't have to be there, but it just really adds to what that scene is about. Or that beautifully constructed shot of panning from with all kinds of great information going on throughout the whole tracking shot, but going from the back of the gym down, following the rope up to the bucket of blood, and getting that perfect angle where you're basically seeing the end result of everything. It's just magically crafted. That's what makes it such a great film.
I agree. Well said.
Thanks.
Brian, you said much?
This probably is my favorite De Palma. Not that I've seen a ton of his, but you guys kind of said it all. Like what? It's Carrie. This movie's been talked to death, and it's awesome. What else am I going to say? I love this flick, especially in counterpoint to the other two movies tonight. Two flops from directors and studios that are generally beloved by horror fans, and then one of the best horror films of the 70s maybe ever. It's a pretty wide stretch, I will say. And I think I've probably told this story on the show before, but when I was in high school and our class was picking the theme for our senior prom, of course they split everyone in the class into little groups of 2 or 3 or whatever, and said, okay, everyone come up with some themes and we'll put them up on the board and we'll vote. And me and a couple of my buddies got in a group and we suggested Love Among the Stars. And it made it to like the final like 2 or 3 of the voting. And then we just couldn't not laugh anymore. And we just kind of lost it. And they're like, okay, what? Like, we know you fuckers are up to something. What is so funny? And we're like, it's the prom theme from Carrie. And they're like, God damn it, just erased it from the board.
Awesome.
And if you hadn't seen the De Palma documentary that came out a few years ago, that thing's
great.
amazing.
Oh, that's great too. Yeah.
Jason and I attended a Carrie prom together that I threw in
did.
2019, which was like a 70s scene prom, and then afterwards you went to the theater and saw Carrie, and we like trashed the entrance to the theater to look like Carrie had been there. So there was like streamers falling down and blowing out in the front sidewalks, and chairs flipped over, and
I had my William Cat hair. It was great.
Hell yeah, it was a fun night.
I have pictures.
And little known fact, it was the last movie to play at the Capitol before it shut down for like 35 years, maybe longer.
Oh, that's interesting.
So there's a lot of people who felt it was a curse, and I said, there's no curse, I'm going to play it. And then we shut down for over a year because of COVID, so maybe there is.
Oh, no. What trivia do you have for the movie, not just for the Capitol Theater?
There was so much to go through here, so I try to find stuff that is not necessarily well known. This one I found fascinating. The film Rocky is often credited with being the first appearance of a hoodie in a film, but Miss Desjardins wore a hoodie in Carrie, which was released 2 weeks before Rocky. So the first hoodie on screen.
Huh.
Yeah. While filming the bloody prom sequence, Sissy Spacek's trailer was parked behind the set. After being covered in fake blood for continuity purposes, Spacek refused to wash the effect off. She elected instead to sleep in her bloody clothes for 3 days of filming.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's dedication.
Smelled great. Yeah. Here's a great one about the shot you went into detail about. The dizzying camera shot during the prom scene was achieved by placing William Cat and Sissy Spacek on a platform that was spinning in one direction while the camera was being dollied in the opposite direction.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Probably get super dizzy. I've seen some like behind the scenes photos of them doing it. It's pretty cool. In a 2010 interview with the AV Club, PJ Souls said that Steven Spielberg often came to the set at Brian De Palma's invitation because De Palma told him that there were, a quote, a lot of cute girls down here. Souls said that Spielberg asked about most of the women on set, Souls included, and Amy Irving was the only one who accepted. Irving and Spielberg later married from 1985 to 1989 and had a son together. Pino Donaggio, the film's composer, spoke no English, so he had to have a translator on set while he scored the film to communicate with Brian De Palma. In 1979, 3 years after Carrie, he would go on to score Tourist Trap, another 70s horror movie about a string of telekinetic murders. Bernard Herrmann was actually De Palma's first choice to be the composer, and he was set to be the film's composer, but he died before production began, leaving De Palma to substitute Pino, who ironically wound up ripping off Herrmann anyways by using the infamous violin strings from the theme of Psycho to score the scenes where Carrie uses her telekinesis. I think of it more as an homage and not necessarily ripping off, but
yeah,
I still love the score. Even some of the weird like funk, that like disco, like weird bass lines we get in there, or the weird synthesizer stuff. It just is so 70s that it just like is like a warm little blanket, wraps me up.
Awesome. Excellent. Okay, guys, here we go. Rank the films. This won't take long. Jason, how do you rank these films?
Carrie. Done. Now I guess To the Devil and Eaten Alive last.
Okay. Tad?
It's exactly the same.
Okay. Brian?
I would put Eaten Alive above To the Devil. I'd say Carrie, Eaten Alive, To the Devil, a dot. Just because there are more interesting parts of Eaten Alive than I think there are in To the Devil, a Daughter. Even if, again, it never really adds up.
Yeah, I agree with that. So it's Carrie, Eaten Alive, and To the Devil, a Daughter. Which then poses the question, what is the kill of the episode? Jason, you want to start us off on that?
I'm going back and forth. From maybe the best, I think they're my favorite. I guess I will pick the gym teacher when she gets chopped in half, kind of, because it's just so impactful and scary, and she's the only one in that gym you want to not die. And,
yeah.
And when she gets, that thing falls on her, it's just like, holy crapola.
Yeah, no one's safe. Yeah. Tad, what about you?
Mr. Fromm when he's electrocuted by Carrie with a light board.
Yeah, that's a good one. You kind of want to see him get it.
Yep.
Brian?
I like the car flip.
Yeah.
That is pretty
Travolta
awesome.
getting taken out, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, mine's controversial, as I figured everybody picked Carrie anyway. So I'm going with Robert Englund's death in Eaten Alive. Seeing him, mostly because that man has a really good death scream. It's very chilling.
You just love him because he has his shirt off through most of the thing.
That's true too. It's sexy beast is what he is. All right, so there you have it, folks. 1976. That's all I have to say about that year. Yep, exactly. But there's still just a little bit more show to come. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to finish off the show with some shout-outs. But first, you're going to hear a promo for our podcast network, the PFPN. PFPN is home to so many amazing shows. So let's take a listen to that, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back, and now it's time to hear from you guys, the listeners. Here's Jason with shout-outs.
It's time for
Shout-outs! 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 Shout-outs!
All right, we asked, what are your favorite films from 1976? And since we're just coming back off the holidays, let's just treat those attackers. We're just going to read some attacker chats out of the killer chat, which you can join if you go to jointheattackers.com. We got first Tiffany. She says, I don't even know what year old movies came out. I'm going to assume my favorite is Carrie.
It's a good one.
Yep. We got Brian. That Brian Godzilla says, of course he says, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Blood-Sucking Freaks.
Oh, my.
That one.
Oh, shit.
Eaten
I
Alive.
didn't think of that one before.
I'm not sure he's seen Eaten Alive.
I was hoping no one brought it up.
And he says, how the hell are there no cannibal movies to come out in 1976?
I'm sure there were somewhere. Somewhere.
And then lastly, we have Attacker Rose. She says, The Omen.
Oh.
Men.
Oh,
my gosh. All right, we have a voicemail. It's Bill. Listen up.
Oh.
Hey, Attacker Bill Fisher here, and I just saw that apparently today's topic is horror movies from 1976, which, if I'm being completely honest, I didn't know they actually still had, technology to make movies in 1976. It's such a staggering long time ago. I mean, I don't know why you guys would do movies where anybody that was born then would probably already be dead or at least given up by this point in their life. But, hey, that's fine. I don't know if people that old know how to use podcasts, but anyway, hopefully it works out. The movies that I think of from that year, I had to do a little research because numbers are hard, but Carrie rules as a Stephen King fan of me. Absolutely adore that movie. Blood-Sucking Freaks is just a weird-ass movie, but kind of a cool idea of, actually killing people on stage when you're pretending to. I like that quite a bit. Alice, Sweet Alice is the first movie that ever made me feel real dirty and gross. So, there's that. The Omen, yeah, creepy little kid that he punted in the fucking head with his weird little suit. And The Town That Dreaded Sundown, good movie, fun. Not enough people die. But whatever. Anyway, That's it. Just joking about the old age guys. I know you probably picked it because you were born in one of these years, but yeah, it's whatever. Anyway, looking forward to another great year of Attack the Killer podcast. Keep up the good work, guys, and hope you had a good Christmas. Happy New Year.
Hey, thanks, Bill. Mostly.
Barber Bill. Congrats.
Bill the Barber. Congrats,
Yeah,
big guy.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Why is
Proud of you.
people with no hair are the ones cutting hair? I don't know. But,
yeah, that's like me managing a gym or something.
Right. All right, if you want to leave a voicemail, you can do that anytime, and we'll read it or play it on the show. Just give us a call at 415-952-6857. That's 415-95-AOTKP. Leave us a voicemail. We'll play that on the show.
All right, so no Insane's Picks this episode, guys. I know you're all so upset.
We waited this long for it.
To next episode.
Apparently, I should have done Bloodsucking Freaks for Insane's Picks, because 2 shout-outs for that film. I'm in shock that movie has gotten so much love.
Next episode,
put it on
baby.
the episode and made Tad and Jason watch it.
No.
I've seen it. Joe Bob showed it.
Oh, that's
Probably
right. Yeah.
never talk to me again if I made them watch that. I made Jason at least watch that.
Jason, have you seen it? You would remember if he did. There would be no
Yeah.
hesitation.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you
It's
guys
very
throw that
it's
word
very-
around a lot. So
It's very cruel, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Anywho, so that's going to wrap it up then for this episode of Attack of the Killer Podcast. If you want more Attack of the Killer Podcast in your life, and who doesn't, we're on X, TikTok, and I'm going to say that I've been really bad the past few months on the TikTok, and that's part of my New Year's resolution is to get back on track with that. So, be more fun stuff coming to TikTok, but there's already like so much crap on our TikTok that do you really need new stuff? I guess. We're on Threads. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram. Join our Discord. A lot of great conversations going on over there. Jason, what's the current who would win on that right now?
it's almost going to end.
I was going to say it's probably almost over. It definitely will be over by the time this episode comes out.
Yeah, this current one is Dracula's Brides versus the Witches from Suspiria.
Yeah.
And I just voted
win?
before this episode, too. So.
Who would win?
I don't know.
And you're out there screaming like, oh, it would be this. Well, guess what? It's too late. You should have been on our Discord. But there's the next one coming around. That you need to get your vote in on that. And so, there you go. And make sure to leave us reviews wherever you can leave reviews, like on Apple Podcasts and whatnot. So, thank you all so much for listening. It's going to be an awesome year here at Attack of the Killer Podcast. We're so excited to bring you all kinds of great episodes this year. And we will talk to you all next time on the next episode of Attack of the Killer Podcast.
Oh no, could this be the end of? Attack of the Killer Podcast.